Hello, podcast listeners. Welcome to today's episode, Delusions We Live By. So, as a therapist, I, like many other therapists, have a lot of problems with the DSM, which is what we call the Diagnostic Statistical Manual that we use to diagnose our clients. And one of the many problems I have right now is the classification of psychosis. Psychosis, in order to diagnose someone with this disorder, needs to have a sign of either hallucinations or delusions. And my problem is how we use both of these symptoms, hallucinations and delusions, interchangeably as if they were the same thing or they were equal to being the same thing, but they're not. So let's look deeper into both hallucinations and delusions, and let's make that important distinction between the two. Personally, I would say that delusions are much, much more common than we would ever believe. So let's go into this. I have only, in all my years as a therapist, seen one client who ever showed what we would all agree to be a delusion. This was an absurd belief that this client adhered to as true. So she would be easy to diagnose in that case, but most delusions are not so easy to catch by a therapist, if ever. And I would say the most common delusion is what I would call the victim delusion. It is a delusion that the person themselves is an innocent victim at all times and that everyone around them is the problem. Let's call this belief the victim delusion, just so we have a name for it. And like all delusions, it is a defense against the feeling of shame. The deluded victim needs to constantly deflect their shame onto everyone around them in order to escape from what their psyche believes to be true. This is why people with the most shame are often monsters, because they are outsourcing their shame to everyone else all the time. They always need at least one scapegoat, if not more. If we happen to be one of those scapegoats, especially as a child, we are likely to develop hallucinations as a response. But hallucinations can actually serve a protective function. So hear me out. I had a client who I'm going to call Kelly, who has given me permission to share about her on my podcast, who had hallucinations for years. Her hallucinations were specifically of witches that were evil or dementors who suck out your soul, just like on the Harry Potter movie. And she was terrified at these, and they caused her a lot of suffering for many years. But when we started therapy together, I helped her to see that those hallucinations seemed to be depicting the truth about Kelly's mother. She actually saw there was truth to this, and it led her to cut off all ties with her mother. Immediately after this, her years of hallucinations came to an abrupt halt. And in the 2+ years we've been working together since this time, she's had not a single hallucination. She has been able to successfully get off every single medication she was on. And the level of clarity and mental stability she has in her life is something she never thought she would have. So that's one type of hallucination that can serve a protective function. It's communicating the truth that we're not allowing ourselves to see. So let's talk about some more hallucination-like phenomena. So I would say many people escape from a deluded victim in their lives by activities that provide a type of hallucination function, such as horror movies, violent video games, or an obsession with Halloween. These activities allow them to experience a vicarious outlet for the rage and hatred they feel, but are far too dangerous to ever display to the person that's causing them. And these activities provide an acceptable cathartic outlet for their feelings of rage. This is not uncommon. Another type of hallucination entails developing a robust fantasy life. The human mind is adept at creating fantasies that give us room to have hope, because hope is vital for human life. In high school, in order to escape the acute loneliness and rejection I felt at home, I would fantasize about my future. I made my home in these fantasies, imagining the life I would one day lead, where a man would love me perfectly and I would find a career that made me feel important. And these gave me hope to offset the feeling of unlovability and unimportance I felt at home 24/7. My fantasy was always going to happen just around the corner, which gave me hope and even excitement for the future. I also fantasized about how Bill, who sat in front of me in French class and who was funny and playful, would someday love me in return. I fantasized about Bill day and night throughout high school, and it served as an escape and gave me hope from the painful feelings at home. Now, dear listener, I'm pretty sure you can relate to some of this, but I know my experience is not unique. I know of many women in particular who, when we were girls, I remember them fantasizing about their future wedding, the colors that would be used for their wedding palette, their wedding gown, and even the names of their future children. I will say now that we're all in midlife and have grown children, these women now struggle because all their fantasy lies behind them. Some finally confront their painful past through therapy and introspection, developing a robust life in reality for themselves, while others shift their focus to future hope of grandchildren and often put a lot of pressure on their adult children to have grandchildren for this reason. Fantasies can bring joy, but they can also serve as a type of hallucination because we are not living in reality, feeling the feelings that are designed to give us wisdom. The main feelings we would feel are anger and disgust at the deluded parent or partner. These feelings make complete sense because the deluded victim is in denial, working hard to maintain this lie at all times. They deny their own contribution to their problems and need to convince themselves and everyone around them that they are perfect. To admit imperfection would create shame that they are not willing to tolerate. To live out this lie, it's not only difficult, but hurtful to everyone in their path, as they are compelled to perpetually offload their disowned shame to everyone around them. But here is the irony. The deluded person is themselves deceived, because the truth is, mistakes are not shameful. It's what makes us human. Making mistakes and learning from them is what humans do best. It's what we are designed to do, and it is beautiful. The truth is, our parents, themselves deceived, taught us it is shameful to be human, but they were wrong. The truth is, our core self is good. We simply need to set her free from all the learned shame. When we can truly embrace our humanity, we are freed from all of our delusions, where we no longer have to shame dump onto others. The truth sets us free, all of us. Shame is a lie, and it is not native to humans. Let's put it all in a big collective box and throw it into the middle of the ocean where it belongs. Then we can all live in reality, which would be delightful. But in order for this to happen, dear listener, those of us who remain connected with a deluded victim will need to rescue ourselves and them from a lie by detaching with love. When we detach, we allow a deluded victim to hit bottom. We create an opportunity for them to wake up. This is the most loving thing we can do for them and for us. But in order to do this, we are going to need to give ourselves the thing that we were still needing from them: approval. This entails both dislodging the shame that they successfully put upon us and seeing ourselves at long last for good. Now, it has been a while since I have done a full integration exercise on this podcast, so let's make today the day. Dear listener, please close your eyes, and I want you to picture yourself as a baby. Take a moment to notice the expression on your infant self's face and what she or he is feeling. Then say, and of course I'm going to use my name, but please use your own name. Say, little Bronwyn, I see you and I see how confused you look and how alone you feel. And it breaks my heart. I see how little attunement you receive, which naturally causes you to conclude that this is due to you and your own deficiency, that you just don't matter. But I need you to see what I see, because you are precious to me and you matter so much. Your feelings matter as well as your needs. And now from here on out, I will meet them consistently. I will validate your feelings because they are valid. And I will share them with you so we can feel them together from here on out, because what's shareable is bearable. I want you to see that the neglect you feel and experience from your parents is not a reflection of your lack, but of theirs. So let's put all the shame that you feel in this big cardboard box and let's give it back to them. Return to owner. Please forgive me, little Bronwyn, from my neglect of you. I have related to you just as our parents related to us, and I am so sorry. I had no idea all this time how much you needed me and how powerful I am to you. I am so sorry I allowed you to feel so desperate and so alone for so long. I am committed now to staying put and winning back your trust as long as it takes. You have my love and you have my approval. You actually won it on the day you were born, before you could do a single thing, because what won my heart was yours. That's what I see. That is what is most precious to me, is your heart. It is good. I see all of you, the good, bad, and the ugly, but it's a net good in my eyes. And you will have my approval until the day you leave this earth, because your heart will be the same and nothing can ever detract from that. From here on out, I will be your super fan, sitting in the front row seat of your life, cheering you on, and you will never be alone again. I will be the mirror that you've been looking for, always giving you the true reflection that you can trust from here on out. Now that you have me, you have my love and my attunement. We are whole, and you are now free to be true to you and free to disappoint the hell out of everyone else in that process. You have me, and there's no more loneliness. There's no more shame. We are complete, and we can now feel all of our feelings together, and they will no longer overwhelm us. And we're going to allow those feelings to give us wisdom, because that's what they're designed to do, which will lead to our wholeness and our flourishing. Thank you for listening today. Please do this exercise. Please share it with at least one other person. And please subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. Thank you.